Hello again, YouTube. Thank you for tuning in to another installment of The Light. I'm very, very pleased to be able to bring you the news and info. I hope it's been interesting to you. I hope that you enjoyed hearing a little bit about the, Denver decriminalization of psilocybin. I hope that you've been benefiting from the market updates and from getting some more information and insight on the cannabis marketplace and the CBD markets right now. Now, there's a lot going on, and, I like doing kind of an in-the-news type segment every now and again, and I'm considering doing a monthly schedule, doing once a month a publicly traded stock talk episode, especially talking about publicly traded cannabis companies like Aurora Cannabis and the Cannabis Patch, and then also once a month I'm thinking I'm going to be doing something like a medical updates episode talking about companies like Zynerba and others that are coming up with botanical medicinal treatments, cures, things like that. Also an episode that's going to be more about cannabis education and talking about the plant itself and the terpenes, compounds found in cannabis. And then also one episode per month that's going to be something more like in the news segment, talking about whatever interesting things are going on in the world. So let me know what you think about that production schedule. Let me know if there's anything that you'd like me to add. I'm open to feedback. So just let me know what you'd like to hear about on my channel, and I'll try to make it happen. But today, I want to get into the news, and there's a lot going on, but it's more than the stock market right now. The evolution of the cannabis industry has just been incredible. So we're seeing Aurora Cannabis, Canopy Growth Corp, Afria, Tilray, and others literally growing metric tons of cannabis. Actually, metric tons of THC-rich recreational and medical cannabis. Aurora Cannabis literally sold 9 tons in that last quarter. So things are getting real. It's quite impressive, and the market is being flooded with a great supply of high-quality cannabis at the moment. Prices are dropping, and the players who can produce large quantities at a low production cost are being rewarded, like Aurora Cannabis. Now, I want to talk about what we're seeing, because we're seeing a lot of skepticism still, especially after Aurora Cannabis's last earnings report. We're seeing margins improving, revenue and earnings still improving. We're seeing them selling at a lower cost per gram, and we're seeing production capacity go online. Now, a lot of the skepticism comes from the fact that Aurora is still at an operating loss, but a lot of this is, again, because they have to put money into these facilities like Aurora Sun and Aurora Sky to kick them off. But listening to the earnings call, I was very, very hopeful, especially hearing from Aurora Cannabis that they are now partnering with the UFC, and also hearing in the earnings call that they are focused on a pivot toward the medical research and into the medical markets with a vast pipeline of patented pharmaceutical grade medical products that utilize cannabis. So, we've got a lot of interesting things going on at Aurora Cannabis. And in the earnings call, they talked a bit about this focus as they are pivoting away from a recreational cannabis company and becoming more of a pharmaceutical grade, industrial scale producer of medical products. And they have this pipeline of patented medical products. They're doing a lot of research now, and they're pivoting toward research with the acquisition of ICC Labs in Uruguay, with the acquisition of Farmacias Magistrales in Mexico, where they can now distribute their soft gel capsules, working with insurance companies, and their deal with the German government, which opens up another platform for medical cannabis production in Europe for Aurora Cannabis, and also gives them another avenue into research and development of new treatments and cures. So it's very incredible. And further advancing themselves as a player here. They have teamed up with the UFC in a multi-million-dollar deal with the help of course, Nelson Peltz. So we see Peltz and his deal making already coming in handy. And this deal with the UFC is a lot different than, say, the deal between Canopy Growth and Constellation Brands, where we see Canopy Constellation Brands with really a production and supply deal. Constellation Brands wants to make infused alcoholic beverages, and Canopy Growth has the cannabis supply. So it's a much different deal. That one was multi-billion dollars. This is multi-million dollars. But what the focus is on this deal is in the medical research, as these guys who fight in the octagon are taking on a lot of head injuries and other injuries, the sorts of which that can be treated very, very effectively using cannabis, and CBD in particular, as an anti-inflammatory. Now, studies are showing that it can help reducing the inflammation and effects of head trauma, especially other forms of inflammation in the body can be helped by CBD. And the UFC is now teaming up with Aurora Cannabis. This legitimizes Aurora Cannabis. This brings them more into the mainstream, giving them a platform for some more outreach and exposure and some advertising. And it gives them a platform, again, for research. And very important research at that, and research which can lead to another improvement in our quality of life and the quality of life of high-class athletes like those in the UFC. So it's very exciting. We also see this pivot kind of toward the United States making a deal with the UFC while they are still waiting on U.S. cannabis laws to change. But huge changes are already happening in the U.S. as banking institutions urge the Senate to open up the financial industry to the legal cannabis marketplace. And all 50 state bank institutions are urging the Senate and Congress to change the laws. So we're seeing a consensus across the board that it's better to get on this wave than to try to ride against it. Now, big banks are going to start to get into the cannabis game. They're going to want to be able to give loans and to take on savings and cash of these mainly cash-only cannabis companies. There's a lot of money there. And we're also seeing the rise of cryptocurrency right now, with Bitcoin up nearly 100% in the last few months. And we're seeing this kind of adoption by companies like Amazon and Starbucks for online payments and at the register payments using Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. We're seeing these companies easing into the adoption of utilization of cryptocurrency, and it's very impressive. Things are happening very fast, and this is also very closely tied to cannabis, as the most early adoption of cryptocurrency was really to keep track of wheat supply and wheat markets. So one can see how that would easily translate to some kind of utilization, keeping track of cannabis and the cannabis markets here in North America, where now the marketplace is being saturated with vast supplies of high quality cannabis. So cryptocurrency could provide some very unique solutions to the cannabis industry, especially if banks are too slow to get on board with allowing the cannabis businesses to utilize traditional banking. Cryptocurrency will be there to provide solutions. So we're watching that closely. And I also, before I leave, want to highlight this study by NBC reporting that utilization of CBD may reduce anxiety and cravings in people who had been addicted to heroin. And we have Mount Sinai Hospital in New York. They found promising yet unexpected results pointing towards CBD as an addiction therapeutic medicine. Now, 42 drug abstinent patients who recently had ceased using heroin found that they had less cravings and anxiety, even when looking at pictures of people doing drugs. This is incredible. And in the study, they found the levels of cravings and anxiety to be measurably lower in these patients who used CBD, especially compared to the patients in the trial using the placebo. And they also found that the effect of CBD lasted measurably for 7 days beyond when they expected the effects of CBD to expire. So we're seeing this again, discovery of CBD for therapeutic medicinal purposes, and this is incredible. Now we're seeing that cannabis can actually help us fight the opioid epidemic, which has just harmed our country so poorly. And here in Colorado, where I'm at, we saw a massive reduction, about 80% less instances of heroin overdose after legalization of cannabis. So that right there shows some more statistical evidence in favor of legalization. It's very exciting, but we've just scratched the surface of the endless potential of the cannabis industry, and we're seeing really exciting things happening with infusion. I would look out for the infusion of things right now, especially in the stock market. Look out for stocks like Koyos Beverages now producing CBD infused kombucha. Look out for Charlotte's Web making utilizing very, very high grade technology. They're utilizing this technology, making very high grade CBD extracts. Look out for Zynerba Pharmaceuticals with their therapeutics, and look out for Hemp Inc. Setting themselves up to be a huge player in the industrial hemp industry and in the CBD marketplace. And it's very exciting stuff, people. I really appreciate you tuning into the video. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, and if you enjoyed the video, leave me a like. If you didn't, leave me a thumbs down, and whatever the case, please leave me a comment. It really helps me out, and I love getting feedback from you all. I really do take it into account. So thank you again for tuning into The Light. This has been great. I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, enjoy this music by the Southern Sinners, and much love, everybody. I will see you soon.